Okay guys, I'm here and I'll be back on in about 1 minute and we'll be ready to go. I just got to load the Blackboard stuff. Thanks. Okay, well that took a minute today. I don't know why it was taking so long, but we're online and ready to go. Hopefully you have a pencil or a paper or something, just so that you have something to work on and something to write the homework down on. So can everybody hear me? Thumbs up if you can, please. Hello, anybody out there? Can you give me a thumbs up or a, well, Zainab can hear me and Jasmine. Oh, yeah, Caden. Can you hear me, Caden? Gloria, can you hear me? I was going to say, just text me if you can't hear, okay? Of course, you can't hear me say that, but I'm going to put that into the... Okay. So today we begin having a bit of a review because we have a unit test next week. There's 3 classes. There was today's and then there's 2 more where we get to do a review. So the next one, the next class, there won't be a class. It will be you actually taking the time to study and also the time to review any videos that you need to review. So this is the last one before the quiz. So there won't be a video on Wednesday night, and I'll make sure that your parents know that. And then, is it Wednesday? Yeah, Wednesday this week. And then next week, again, we have Monday and Wednesday. The test should be Wednesday. I know I put Thursday. The test should be Wednesday. And so we'll make sure that I get the right date on the email. So we need to review what we've learned so far in this unit. We started with the area of a parallelogram. This can be a square or a rectangle or a parallelogram. Any 4-sided shape that has 2 sets of parallel lines on the sides. So who can remind me, oh, is it Minnie Mouse me? Oh no. Who can remind me what the formula is to figure out the area of a parallelogram? You can either speak it or type it. So we're looking for the formula for area of a parallelogram. Waiting. Oh, there we go. Good. So there's 2 that came through, and we're going to remember which one we used. So length times width was the one that we got earlier in elementary school before we started using parallelograms. So we just are going to remember that it's called base times height. So I'm going to give you the kind of typical, I'll look at a typical kind of thing that you might see giving you a question for figuring out the area of a parallelogram. So a restaurant owner built a patio in front of his store or his salt tray to attract more customers. All right, so the patio is the area between the parallel lines. So we need to figure out what the area of the patio is. So what is the formula again? Is base times height. So in this case, of course, we can't measure the height of the lines that are going on a diagonal. So how are we going to get the height of this particular patio? What would the height be? Any thoughts? William says 6.6 meters, and of course he's right. I'm going to use my pointer here, and I'm going to show you what we're talking about. You can see that right here they've said that the height of this triangle right here is 6.6 meters. Now lucky for us, when we come down to this point, we can see that there is an actual right angle. If we just ignored the patio going off, just to say this is a little garden area in here, if we ignore the patio going off, we can see that we've got a right angle here. And we know we always measure the height from a right angle. You can see another one here. You can see the square in the corner. So we know that the height of this line that we're looking at right here, all the way up and down, is going to be 6.6 meters. And what is the length? So that is the height. So what would the base be? Any thoughts on that, what the base might be? Remember, we have 2 sets of parallel lines, so these 2 lines will be the same length and this line will be the same length. And thank you, Caden, that's right. It's 14.4 meters. So now that we have the base and the height, let's figure out what the area of just the patio, not the patio with the little gardens off to the side, but just the patio is. So let's get out our calculators. And we're going to do base times height. Any thoughts on what answer we're going to get there? Just give you a second to do that. Good. Caden's got it. Now she put 95.04. Does somebody want to tell her what else she needs in her question, her answer? Yeah, meters squared. Excellent. So the area of the, and I'm going to write this on just because there's going to be people on the class later online and they can't see what you guys are typing. So the area of the patio is going to be a total of 95.04 meters squared. Now that is the calculation, of course, of 14.4 meters times 6.6. All right. So this one's not so bad. A little easier. We just remember base times height, or length times width from before, but we remember that we measure the height anywhere that we can make a right angle. So we could have also measured our height right there, except that that's not a very straight line. Let me get a straight line. We can measure our height anywhere that we can make a right angle to the bottom. So we can measure it anywhere along there. Just draw the line and then measure it. All right, we're going to move on. The next thing we have is our area of a triangle, which is also easy to calculate. When we think of a rectangle split diagonally, it becomes two triangles. So I'm going to remind you that. I'm going to show you that. I'm going to draw a rectangle. And then I'm going to remind you that if I take a diagonal line across this rectangle and split it, I actually get two right angle triangles. There's a right angle here. Oops. Not doing such a good job of drawing it, but it's really there. Right angle there. And there's a right angle here as well. So we get two right angle triangles. Now, that makes sense. Thinking of the formula for the area of a rectangle, of course, is base times height. Let me get back my pencil. So a rectangle equals base times height. And I know I'm going to use some short language here because, you know, here I am again drawing with this mouse. A rectangle is base times height. So then what we would do by that is divide it by 2 to get a triangle. So that's a fancy way to fix that. All right. Base times height divided by 2 will give you the formula for the area of a triangle. So if you can't remember that, think of a rectangle split in 2. So let's look at a couple of problems here. What is the area? For this one, the height is 5.0 centimeters and the base is 12 centimeters. Now you'll notice that right down here, we have a right angle. Right in that corner. So we know that we can measure these quite easily. We measure the base and we measure the height. So let's go and figure out get our calculators out. Base times height divided by 2. I like to see the fact that Zach and Jasmine both put centimeters squared. So we're remembering all of our area calculations have 2 dimensions, so they're square. So 12 times 5 is 60, which is excellent. I'm just going to type this out. Okay. And we'll go here. I don't know what's going on. My thing's not working very well. Points is fair. Writing a little bigger. All right. 12 times 5 equals 60. And then we're going to do 60 divided by 2 equals 30. And then we have to put our centimeters squared in there. All right. The next one, the height, the base is 8 centimeters. The height is 15. So now we have to do our calculations, and you guys should always have a calculator at class just to give yourself some practice, because we know that we're going to have to do a test on this, so it's always good to have had some practice with it. So the first thing we do is 15 times 8, which equals, someone want to give me that one? It's 120. And then we do a 120 divided by 2, which equals 60 centimeters squared. And that is the area of that one. And we've got lots of good answers there. Zainab and Jasmine both gave us the answer there. We're going to remember that we have to have our area in centimeters squared this time. All right. I love the homework tonight. It's going to be awesome, but we're not there yet. Okay. Circumference. Oh, nice spelling fair. I was in such a hurry today. All right, we use the formula diameter times pi is circumference. So what is pi? It's always the ratio of circumference to diameter, and it always works out to be 3.14 rounded. All right? So, thank you, Zach. I'm glad you were first. And here comes William, and William loves to do this. So William's giving us what pi is rounded to a lot more numbers. 3.1415926535897 and we know that it goes to over 1 million places without repeating, but we're going to get through this. All right, so we have a diameter of a circle, 5.6 centimeters. All right, 5.6 centimeters is our diameter. So what is our circumference? Okay. So we use pi. Nobody's answering. You guys are letting me down. Try that again. Make my little box because later on we're going to figure out the area of this circle as well. All right. Good. So you're right. It's 17.58. So how we figured that out? Oh, I'm having some trouble with this darn thing again. And I like how you got centimeters squared. Okay. So what we did was we did 5.6 times 3.14, and that equals 17.584. And then, of course, we've got centimeters squared. All right? Now, we can round that off. And I know a lot of you have been worrying about being out by 1 or 2 decimal places in some of the answers. Math Focus always rounds these things. You don't have to. You won't be marked wrong because you haven't rounded the same way that they do. All right? So look at how you did the centimeters squared there, Jasmine. All right. So now we have a diameter, and we want to figure out now the area of the circle. Who can remind me what the formula is for area of a circle? I didn't put it in here purposely. I want you guys to tell me because, boy, we were having some trouble with this today. Someone want to tell me what the formula is for area of a circle? Pi times r squared. Excellent. So what that means is 3.14 times radius times radius. Now we have to remember that radius squared does not equal radius times 2. It does equal radius times itself. And this is where the biggest mistakes come in. All right. Now we have a diameter here. What do we do to a diameter to get a radius? We have to divide it by 2. All right. So diameter equals radius times 2, and that's where the squaring and the whole thing gets all messed up. So if we divide 5.6 in half, we get I'm typing slow, 2.8 times 2.8 times 3.14. And that's going to be the area of our circle. I'm going to go back up here and type in the word area so that we make sure that we get it there. Okay. And so that 2.8 times 2.8 times 3.14 is 24.6176 according to my calculator. Am I right? Somebody check me out, because you know sometimes I make mistakes in math. Well, I think I'm right. So I'm going to put that in centimeters squared. Okay, William says I'm right. So we remember that this is the area of a circle. So we've actually learned quite a few formulas in the last couple of weeks. And what's going to happen when it gets down to the test is some people are going to get them messed up in their heads. So here's your homework. Create a poem or a rap song that will help you remember the formulas for area of parallelogram, triangle, oh, I forgot circle, and the circumference of a circle. All right? So I'm going to add that in. No, I'm not kidding. I don't kid at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, William. Also add an area of a circle to your poem, and I'm going to make that big so you guys all see it. I hope I can make it big. Okay, just one way to skin a cat, my mother always said. Okay, it's not showing me that. All right, I'll make sure I put that on there. Any questions about that? Oh, I bet there's a few. People sitting there absolutely stunned into silence. Okay. I bet you're confused. No, you can't do work instead. You have to write a poem or a rap song that will help you remember the formulas for the area of a parallelogram. You don't have to present it. You just have to hand it in to me. But you have to know it. All right? You have to memorize your poem. I know, I don't give homework like this very often. You can't crab at me. Because I want you to remember all the formulas. How are you going to do that if I don't give you homework to help you remember? Quit whining, you guys. I don't give you fun stuff very often. Think back to, and we'll look at this tomorrow. I don't know if they actually have one or not. Think back to vocabulary. All right? And we remembered some things. It doesn't have to be to the tune of a song. It can just be a poem. Roses are red, violets are blue, parallelograms are fun. How about you? All right? But then you have to do the formula. Okay? Yes. Yes, Zach, you do. You have to write a poem or a rap song that will help you remember the formulas for the area of parallelogram, triangle, circumference of a circle, and area of a circle. It's not a sick joke, William. Boy, you guys are crabby. I thought this was kind of fun. I'm adding in the area of a circle. Poorly. Wish I had remembered to put that in there. It needs to be long enough that it has the formulas in it. All right? So, it has to have the area of a parallelogram, triangle, and circle, and the circumference of a circle. So, that is fun. All right. So, it doesn't have to be long. It just has to be effective, William. And you've got a couple of days to come up with it. Any other questions? You can see I'm getting lots of fun little comments here on the text. I'm too lazy, says Zainab. It'd have to be to the tune of a song. Parallelograms aren't fun, according to Zach. So, you have to be a little bit creative. It won't kill you to be creative in math, once. I'm just going to go, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to see if I can find. You can go if you want, you guys. You're free to go. I'm going to see if I can find this vocabulary site. Actually, I'll do that for class for Thursday or for Wednesday. Is I'll see if they've got a vocabulary song. But I want you to make up your own. You can sign off anytime, guys, once you've copied down the homework. Bye, Zainab. Good luck with that. Bye, Jasmine. Bye, William. See you, Zach. Bye, Kaden.